Hey, good morning, and welcome to the second episode. This is we did it. We got through one, and it's out there. It's circulating the web, being viewed by tens, if not dozens, of people by now. So, big thank you to the people who watched the first episode, who liked it, listened to it on, who streamed it, especially those who commented. That's super cool of you to do, like on YouTube. I have, I have spoken ill on people who comment on videos in the past, and I will continue to do it probably, but not the people who comment on my stuff. Of course, I really appreciate that. It helps, helps get the podcast viewed by more people. And it's good to have people talking about stuff. This is Deadbeat Son. It is July 26th. Still in the heat of that summer, baby. But really, for those who checked it out on YouTube, that's clutch. I really appreciate that. We'll have clips, podcast clips coming out to hopefully get more people drawn in. But it's good if you. I appreciate the comments. I do, even if they're mean, which I haven't gotten a lot of mean comments on YouTube quite yet. I'm sure that's coming, but mostly I get them on like Instagram and TikTok stuff where, the more people see your stuff, the more people are going to say horrific things to you. So that's just kind of how it goes. Coming to you with a fresh shaved face, man. And this was not something I wanted to do. This was not a conscious decision. This was an error. This was something that went wrong, and I did the best I could to fix it. I've noticed that, because I see on the different, social media, I'll check out, I'll just scroll through followers, or I'll look at people's profiles, who leave a comment or send me a DM, and I couldn't help but notice that a lot of the guys that follow me look a lot like me. And I don't know if that's a joke, some practical joke being played on me, or if it's some kind of culty thing going on, or I'm just not an original person, which is probably the most likely, because there's not a lot of options for us. And by us, I mean guys who look like me and women who look like me. Well, you have more options. Guys who look like me, we don't have much of a presence, in terms of body mass. We're not very big, we're not very large. You walk into a room, people kind of continue doing what they were doing. They don't even really, some guys can bust into a saloon, and everyone stops. The piano stops. And they all look over at this, guy coming in with his boots and his, whatever, his leather boots that take him from 5'9" to 6'1", Everyone stops and looks, and but if you're a guy that's my size, my stature, losing body mass by the day, the gym is something that you look at and you go, that's something people do, and then you keep going. We don't have a lot of options, and one of our biggest safety nets, I'll say, for a lot of guys is our facial hair. It's like makeup for us. It contours, it like highlights if you have, a color that of facial hair that does that. Most importantly, it makes up for the lack of chin that you may be experiencing. I know I do. I see it every day. I get it. I don't have a big face. I don't have a big chin. I'm not trying to either. People ask me if I've gotten into a fight, and I haven't. Not in like 15 years. And my jaw is probably the same. My chin's probably the same size it was then. If I got, dude, I got no chin, bro. If you left the window open and a breeze came through just right, dude, I'd be knocked out cold. I'd be on the floor, snoozing, But, and then, so one thing, I was shaving. I was just going for a trim. Famous last words, right? Just going for a trim, baby. And I put the guard on, and so help me guard, I went to shave and took a big old chunk right out of the side. Not quite the middle, not quite the end, right in between there. So you got two options at that point. There's three. You can get rid of just the middle, right, and have two sides of like just hair, just balls of hair or whatever on the corners of your mouth, and then maybe you could try to grow those out and see what happens there, maybe, but or you can go the other way where you shave the sides, you keep the middle, and you rock the Michael Jordan Hanes commercial stash. Lest we forget that crazy commercial. Michael Jordan on an airplane rocking a stash that, you've only seen in history books. Let's say that. That was a crazy flex. It had to have been, right? He must have been watching some history documentary and seen Charlie Chaplin or another white man with a mustache only in the middle of his face, and seeing that nobody wears that and goes, "Oh, I'll do it." That's a crazy. I guess it kind of makes sense for his mindset, right? Because he did accomplish the things that nobody else could. 6 championships. He won all the basketball games, and he, married Dennis Rodman or something like that. Something about. He did all this stuff. He beat the odds. He really did. He outliers, that whole Malcolm Gladwell thing. Michael Jordan is an outlier of humans, and because of that, he goes, let me also wear the mustache that nobody will. He looked around and said, oh, that's weird. No NBA players have 6 championships and are called the greatest player in basketball history. I guess I'll just do that. And then he did. And God bless him, he did it. But then he also looked around and said, no one's wearing that little mustache right in the middle of their face. I'm going to do it. Then he did it in a commercial by corporations. It just goes to show, if you are... it just shows, the limitations that white men have in today's society. It's really sad. Not that I want to rock that stash. I would rock. I wouldn't relax. But I gotta have something, man. So I shaved it, just that chunk off, and I go, oh, great. And so you got to do the rest, you know? I had to do the whole stash, and then I had to do the chops and the chin. Otherwise, because if you just leave hair, on the bottom, like, circle of your face, that's no good. Um, I'm not trying to look Amish, Nothing wrong with looking Amish. I mean, there's plenty wrong with it, but um, not to disparage any Amish. I'm sure you're not listening, but um, you know, you got neck beards, plain and simple. And boy, do I wanna. That's my Michael Jordan Hanes commercial. Is just growing out my neck beard. A lot of guys have that. A lot of guys have that ability to, to grow a neck beard. And I don't. I could grow a mean one though. Oh, I could grow a gnarly neck beard. It's just hot, collecting all my neck sweat. I don't grow a neck beard, obviously, because I'm not trying to frighten women. And I put myself in the public eye, and I want to be presentable and not look like I escaped from some sort of compound where my family of 19 lives, so yeah, Amish would not be a good look out here in Utah. I don't know how Mormons and Amish would mix. I can't imagine very well. They're probably just telling each other their religion is, crazy. A lot of religions just do that. They tell each other that their version of it is just totally bonkers. Meanwhile, they look like. Meanwhile, they're saying it with a neck beard. You know what I mean? So, anyway, I don't grow a neck beard, and you're welcome for that. But a lot of guys, we need something. So I shaved my face, and I went out to do a couple spots last night, stand up, and feeling self-conscious about my face, feeling like one of those thumb people from Spy Kids. And as soon as I got out of the car, I was like, you know what? I'm going to do some comedy. I'll feel better about it, or not. But at least I'll get my mind off it, right? And I get out of the car, close the door. My buddy must have been 100 feet away and on the second story of a building on the balcony. And he calls out from the balcony. He goes, hey, you shaved your face. Dude. Hey, you shaved your face. Guys will do that, man. Guys will just say the thing right away, because it's not expected that I'm going to be self-conscious about something, because I'm usually just I'm so on all the time that, like, everything I do, people, he must have meant to do that. He must have done that on purpose. He must be, rocking that Hanes commercial stash on purpose, when in reality, it was an accident. I didn't mean to look like that. I don't mean to look like this, but alas, I do. So I was talking to my buddies, a couple comics last night. My friends out here, Andres and Karan, a couple funny guys. We were talking about how certain jokes that we have, certain topics that we talk about, do a lot better with crowds than others. And it's only like, and it's weird how it's different for each person. Like, I don't know if we're better, if our perspective is kind of, more elaborate, if it's like, you were just able to speak on it more clearly. I don't know. But they were telling me how the jokes that they have about race seem to do the best, like with crowds and online and stuff. And I was thinking about it, and that's not the case for me. I've tried racial humor, and it ain't easy. It's tough to make fun of. It can be tough to make fun of other groups of people when you're only performing to guilty white people who aren't guilty of stuff, but they feel guilty. And, nothing wrong with that, except for when you come to a comedy show and don't laugh at any of this stuff. So I don't have a whole lot of race jokes, but I was thinking about it, and the stuff that works best for me, oddly enough, is the gay stuff, the gay topic of gay. I got a lot of jokes that aren't, they're not about gay people. I guess so, but it's about my exes are gay, and it's about women being attracted to me because of my womanly features, and when I shaved my face, I realized that my stash and goatee and all that was really the biggest, if not only, distinguishing factor between me and most bisexual women. I know this from experience because they're into me. A lot of people talk about having a type. They have a type of person that they're attracted to, sort of a look or a feel, that a person gives off that they're attracted to. And I get that. I don't think it's correct, though. I don't think that's the right definition of what a type is. I don't think you get to decide your type. Does that make sense? I think your type is decided for you. Your type is the type of person that you attract. I think that's what it is more. Because you look back, there's a pattern. There's a lot of, or at least a lot of, similar traits, and it's not every single woman that I've dated has these traits, but a number of them do. And in my personal experience, those traits that coincide with women who are attracted to me, those traits are usually a background in Latino heritage or Hispanic heritage, and also who used to be emo. For some reason, man, high school, college, even afterwards, if you are or were Latina and also into Taking Back Sunday or Secondhand Serenade, Pierce the Veil, even My Chemical Romance, I'll give you, then I'm your guy. I'm your guy. And that's not a call to action. I'm telling you what I've seen. Something about it, man. If I put on some fingerless gloves, if I put on some black gloves with my little fingers popping out, game, set, match, baby. Game, set, match. Something about it. I think they just... Some women want a big, tall, boot-wearing fella who comes in and, makes noise when he walks. And some women just want some women just want a guy who reminds them of their favorite pop punk band that also has the complexion of a tortilla. Okay, and that's not a racial thing. I do look like that. My skin looks like that. I have some stage probably of melanoma, or whatever, or I'm turning albino, something like that. But find your type. Figure out your type, because it's kind of fun to look back and be like, if you wrote down your exes and you just kind of wrote down some distinguishing traits about each one, you might find your type. That's a fun one. Yeah, write in with your leave a comment about your type if you figure it out. If you got a good one, email the pod too. You can email the pod, deadbeatsonpodcast@gmail.com. We'll go over, if we get a number of them, I'll read out some types that people have, because that'd be fun. And there's not really a whole lot to do with that, except for when you're, if you are out, if you're single, you're out, you're looking, if you're a woman and you're looking back or a straight woman, you're looking back at your exes, you go, oh, every guy that I've dated is really into Christian gospel, Well, then you might have some virginious features about you. I don't know. That's a weird word to say. Take that back. If you're a straight woman, you might look back at your exes and you might go, oh boy, every single one of them had a tattoo of a lion on his shoulder. Ew, right? So what does that say about you? It means that people who want to, maybe you remind them of a safari movie that they saw, because they would definitely never saw a real lion. Maybe you remind them of, I don't know. If you were someone who has a big old lion on their shoulder, you might be with somebody who really likes Pinterest, because that's probably where they got the idea for that from. And then there's a whole thing you could do. If you like it, then if you like Pinterest, then you can go look at that. Now you have a whole new thing in common. But yeah, for me, it's definitely Latina chicks who used to be goth. If they listened to, or if they ever watched, CKY, that reference is going to be too old for anybody watching this. It's too old for me, actually. So I don't even get it. If you are Latina and then you listened to Linkin Park and thought, this isn't that bad, you're probably going to be into me. Or guys who look like me. And that's the thing. So, hey, if you are one of those people, I got a lot, thousands of people, of followers that you can just comb through and find the ones that look like me. Usually, a lot of us are at lakes. A lot of us are at the lake. We don't really, maybe holding a fish that's not too big, because you don't want to be standing next to a thing that shouldn't be bigger than you, but that shouldn't be that big, but looks big next to you, right? If you hunted a giraffe and you stood next to it, not that you should, if you do, and you're standing like that's, that looks whatever. But if I have like a fish, if I'm holding up a fish next to my body, and it's like, not that big of a fish, but then you're comparing it to my body, it's going to look like a big fish, and I don't need that. But that's where a lot of us are. We're at the lake. We're what else are we doing? We're playing video games. A lot of us are playing video games. And what else are we doing? A lot of us are playing video games and yelling at our moms to do something while we play video games. And or we're just walking around a mall. That's what we like to do. So that's where you can find us. If that's your vibe, if that's your thing. So, and I like that. That's where we are. That's where we're at. You can find us there. And if you find, one of us, guys who look like me, or if you are a guy who looks like me, go ahead and take a picture of your life. Just take a picture of where you're at right now. And I want to see how many of you are at the lake, how many of you are in a room where the curtains are a bed sheet or a towel. I want to see how many of you are, in a, in a fancy car that you saw was open and took a seat inside. That'd be cool, because then it gives us hope. It gives us other guys who look like me hope to see a version of ourselves succeeding, So and send it to my Instagram, Trey J. Lamb. You can send it to the podcast, deadbeatson@gmail.com. Keep watching, keep liking, commenting, sharing, all that fun stuff. And we'll see you. Tickets, if you want to see me live, tickets to my headlining weekend, August 26th and 27th, are available at wiseguyscomedy.com. Tickets in my bio or at the website, or link in my bio. We'll be back next Tuesday. Anything else? I don't think so. Okay. Weekend. Plug the dates. Plug the clips. Yep. Everything's good. Okay. Thanks for watching. We'll be back next week. Take care.